Moving to our last segment here today on ETBU Extra. Thank you for clicking in. We've already talked Tiger baseball, Tiger softball, and now we're about to move in to talk Tiger tennis with the head coach of the men's and women's program here at ETBU, Coach Jeff Bramlett. Before I do that, I need to mention about the ETBU fan poll that you saw on social media. You were asked to vote for your favorite ETBU athletic moment during the past week. Was it baseball taking the series from Chapman as they opened up the season over the weekend in Orange, California, winning that series 2-1? Was it men's basketball game on a very nice 10-game win streak as they head tomorrow night's game against the University of Ozark? Or was it the women's tennis with the start of 3-0? So we're going to reveal to you the poll here in just 2 seconds, but I need to tell you that the ETBU fan vote is sponsored by Matt and Courtney Workman of Team Higher Purpose. They're alumni from the year 2002. And in this week's poll for the favorite ETBU athletic moment, it was won by baseball. They won with a 50% share of the vote. Thank you for being a participant in that ETBU favorite athletic moment for the past week. Look for that on not YouTube, but look for it on our social media channels on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and you know where to look. So thank you for taking part in that poll this week. All right, now time to talk Tiger tennis with the head coach of the Tiger tennis program, Jeff Bramlett. And Coach, I had an opportunity to come out last Friday to see a few balls hit during the match against Centenary, and both the men and women's team won 9-0 against those teams. A great outing by both of your teams. Oh, hold on. Let me turn your microphone on, Coach. Great outing by both of your teams.
You did that on purpose, didn't you?
No, I didn't, Coach.
Yeah, so it was a great outing. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. A 9-0 sweep on both sides. You don't get that very often.
When something like that happens, how do you keep your team not getting the big head, so to speak?
Well, usually you'll be – someone's waiting to humble you right around the corner. But we did it by – playing a lot of different starters and bringing in a lot of fresh faces, and we were banged up a little bit from the prior weekend, so we brought in some of the 7 through 12s and played them, and the starters get a kick out of that. Usually the ones that are typically watching them are also out on the court, and so they're cheering for them, and so they get fired up watching that. So that's a good way to keep them humble and keeping everybody fresh.
Well, as your men's team was playing Centenary, highlight some of the players and performances that you noticed as a coach, saying, hey, they're improving in certain areas, and just kind of highlight some of your players in that 9-0 win against Centenary on the men's side.
Oh, yeah, I know Tyler took care of business on the men's side. That just dominated at the one singles and doubles. That did quite good. Oh, good, you got the score sheets right here. So it's always good to have a cheat sheet. And Dylan wasn't used to playing, at the 3 position. We bumped him up at the 3, and he did quite a good job right there, and won 6-0, 6-1 at the 3 spot, did a very good job. We moved Reed Adams in at the 4, and Roland Houck at the 5, Brandon LeBlanc in at 6, and all of them took care of business and won 6-0, 6-0 in each match. So. And they weren't typically used to playing in the starting position, so you weren't sure if they were going to get nerves or not. So they did a fantastic job. And of course, the boys doubles, we had all of the starters in that, and they just dominated in their positions.
Well, let's move to the ladies' side. Some of the performances that, as the coach of Tiger tennis on the ladies' side, you blanked Centenary on the ladies' side as well. 9-0. Great afternoon for Tiger tennis last Friday. Kind of highlight some of the play that you saw your ladies do.
We just started off the match by sitting out Kayla and Kate and Tiffany and Elizabeth and played Jabri and Sierra at number 1 doubles, and put Kelly and Kelly and Alex in at the 2 doubles, Deja and Malika in at the 3 doubles. A good thing I've got my cheat notes right here, because this is just a completely different lineup than we're used to playing. All of them won the 8-0 in the doubles, and then in the singles we bumped up Kelly, who's typically plays the 5 or 6 position for us in the singles, and she won at number 1 doubles. And then we had Sierra in at 2 singles, Malika in at 3 singles, Alex Rubio in at 4, Deja Ellis, and then Siobhan Newell in at 6 singles, and won all those matches 6-0, 6-0. So, they didn't seem to miss a beat. I think they've been watching all of the people out there above them in the lineup and just did as they did. So I was quite proud of them.
When you get an opportunity to shuffle your spots, how well does that help the team later down on the season?
I think it helps them quite a bit, because it keeps it keeps your starters fresh, and especially in our case, we had a lot of injuries, so you're able to just keep them in the stands watching the match. And then at the same time, people who aren't used to playing that high, if they're used to playing number 5 or number 6 singles and they can win at number 1, that can carry them a long ways when we're playing a tough match and they're playing at 5 or 6, and they're like, well, shoot, I've won at number 1 singles. This is going to be easy winning at 5 or 6. I think psychologically it helps them. And same thing in doubles. If they're used to playing number 3 doubles like Jabri and Sierra, and they're winning at number 1 handily, I think it just gives them a lot of confidence knowing, okay, well, I'm in at number 3 doubles today. This should be easy breezy today at number 3 doubles. So, even though the level of competition is different, it's just a psychological thing. And then next year, a lot of these people are going to have to be starters for us, or maybe later on this season they're going to end up being starters for us. So it just gives them the experience that they need.
Being a long-time player of the game, a long-time coach of the game.
Are you saying I'm old?
No, Coach, I'm not saying
okay.
you're old.
Oh, good.
I'm just saying,
I'm hoping you weren't.
in tennis, how much of it is really mental to overcome certain things?
The more I coach it, I'd say probably over 90%, if not more, is mental. It really is. I mean, you've got to have the strokes, and you've got to have, the coaching and the equipment, and know where to go with the ball in the right situations. But I've seen too many players that maybe don't have the strokes, that don't have the fundamentals, that maybe don't have the proper racket and that sort of thing, and all they do is come off the court with a win. So I know it's mental, just making up your mind to do it.
When I play tennis, which is very, very not often, but I just hit the ball around. But when I watch Tiger tennis playing, they're setting up shots to put a player in position so they can go for the kill shot, and that's the mental aspect of the ball game, correct?
Correct. Yeah, constructing a point and just kind of sort of refusing to lose type of thing in pressure situations. I mean, sooner or later, you're going to play somebody that's as good as you are, and it's just a matter of constructing the point and keeping your head and your composure and playing with poise.
Well, both teams win 9-0 against Centenary last Friday. You had matches scheduled with Dallas Baptist on Saturday at the Veterans Memorial Tennis Complex here on campus at ETBU, but some rain came in that morning and kind of wiped things out for you.
Yes, the tennis gods were not smiling upon us, so that was a little bit frustrating for us. We kept watching the forecast, and it looked like it was about 80% chance of rain at 12 noon, and it was supposed to clear off at 2 o'clock and stop raining, and we just weren't sure if it was going to get dry by the windscreens. We have those windscreens out at the courts that stay in the shade all day. We were discussing it, and they decided, well, we'll just turn around and go back. We don't want to sit around all day and then chance not getting that chance to play. So about the time they turned around and went back, of course, Murphy's Law, the sun came out, and then it was beautiful. And so it looked like we would have played if they had gone ahead and continued driving. So,
but you never know.
You never know. Yeah, if we told them to come on down, if they decided to make the trip, it probably would have rained all afternoon. It's just my life story. But anyway, it was probably a blessing in disguise. We had a lot of people that we were able to get rested and try to get healed up for this weekend. And both on the men's and women's side, after that doubleheader, we just overextended ourselves a little bit and just weren't quite in shape for it this early in the year.
This is with Coach Jeff Bramlett, the head tennis coach here at East Texas Baptist University. Let's talk about ahead. I noticed on the schedule, the ladies have a kind of a match by themselves coming up this weekend as they take on Laverne from California in Waco. My first question is kind of a curious place to meet a team from California in Waco. What's the story behind that?
Yeah, that's quite a trip right there. They wanted to play us, and they'd gotten. It's just a women's team. A lot of the teams out in the Division III tennis in California, they'll just have a coach for the women and a coach for the men. They had contacted some schools in San Antonio, and they'd heard about our women's team and really wanted to play us. So we told them we'd meet them halfway. So I thought Waco would be about halfway from California, right? So that seemed about. No, they were actually going to be in San Antonio, and so we thought that would be a good halfway point from San Antonio. So it's a beautiful regional tennis center out there with about 30 courts and a restaurant with booths inside there that you can sit at in between matches and that sort of thing. And it's just a great venue for a tennis match. And I think the weather forecast is going to be nice right now. And at the moment, they're ranked 23rd in the country, top 5 in the region. That's the type of competition we're looking for our women's team to get ready.
My next question is, how good is Laverne, and why schedule someone Obviously, you do that so you'll get better because you want to be there one day, right?
Yeah, we want to be there one day. We want to be there one day, and we were looking at possibly trying to make a trip out to California, but we had a couple of good teams spring up, said they were going to be in the state of Texas this year. Laverne was one of them. Of course, we got a team out of the region, Gustavus Adolphus, that is going to come down and play us. Now, I hope I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right, Matt? Okay, getting the thumbs up on that. They're going to play us at spring break, and of course, we got some great regional teams. With Trinity and TLU and teams like that. So it really negated us having to try to come up with the funds and make the long trip out to California. So when we got the ability to play Laverne, we jumped on that opportunity and figured we'd find out in a hurry how we stack up against the big dogs.
Looking forward to see how the ladies do against Laverne this Saturday in Waco as they play the team California. And then both teams are back home on the weekend following against Texas Dallas, American Southwest Conference matches. What do you expect in those matches against Texas Dallas?
It should be a great match. I mean, it's always a good match, and I'll be curious to see what they have in their lineup. I know they were very strong the last 2 years. They had one of the best players in the region, if not in the country, that graduated, and
that's good for Tiger tennis.
Yeah, it'd be good for us. I mean, for good competition, and it's going to make it tough on us. I know they've got a new recruit that was ranked top 10 in the state, and I know they're trying to sneak her in the lineup. I'm sure they don't think we know anything about her, and we saw a lot of their players at the ITA tournament. A lot of new freshmen in the lineup. I know they got a new girl in from Minnesota or however you say that up there. But it'll be a good match, and we'll be looking forward to that. So, they might be the toughest team we've played up to this point. Honestly, they may be a little better than even Hardin-Simmons or McMurray.
Well, fresh our memories. How do teams qualify to make the AAC tournament to possibly advance into the NCAA's?
Well, really, you've got to win the conference. That's what you've got to do, and you're going to have to finish top 3 in either the East or West just to make the conference tournament. And if you do that, you go into the conference tournament, and then you've got to just flat out win the conference tournament to advance to regionals. And I think that you can get an at-large conference berth also if you rank top 8 in the region. So this is where a match against Laverne, if we could get if we could do well and get a very high regional ranking, if for some reason we were not able to win conference, possibly could get an at-large berth into regionals, and then would play the other conference winner that Trinity is in, and then try to advance to regionals that way.
Coach, any final words as we both leave the show today and possibly go eat lunch?
No, nothing that I can think of. Otherwise, can you think of anything?
No, I can't. So it must be time to go eat lunch.
It must be about that time. Well, I thank y'all and look forward to next week.
Coach Bramlett, always a pleasure to talk Tiger tennis with you here on ETB Extra.
Pleasure's mine. That's
going to wrap up this week's show of ETB Extra. Thank you for clicking in. Don't forget, later you can watch clips of the interviews today on the ETB YouTube channel, so look forward to that. Don't forget, Tiger basketball on the road. They play Ozarks tomorrow night. Lady Tigers at 5:30, men at 7:30. Finish up their road schedule this Saturday as they host UT Dallas, and then they finish the regular season at home against Belhaven a week from tomorrow. So make plans to see Tiger basketball. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. Thank you for Adam and Kenneth and Matthew for working behind the scenes, and thank you for the coaches and players who are also part of today's program. We'll see you next week at noon here on ETB Extra.